In 2022, we celebrate 130 years of HBCU football. On December 27th, 1892, Livingstone and Biddle College, now known as Johnson C. Smith University, played in Salisbury, North Carolina, with Biddle winning 5-0. Over time, HBCU football has evolved. HBCU football's popularity continues to rise. Millions attend games each year and millions more watch on television. The HBCU bands provide some of the top entertainment in the country. Over that time, some of the best players to ever play in the National Football League played at HBCUs. Every Monday through Friday on the HBCU Football Daily Podcast, national radio and television host Donal Ware takes a look at what's happening in HBCU football and talks with coaches, players, administrators, and media about the 2022 season. Make sure you join the conversation on social media by using the hashtag HBCU130. Now, here's your host, Donal Ware.
This is the HBCU Football Daily Podcast for today, Monday, September 5th. I'm Donal Ware. It is Manic Monday. It is Labor Day. Hope you've had a wonderful weekend. We've had some great college football games, some great HBCU football games that actually wrapped up late last night. So as we do each Monday on the HBCU Football Daily Podcast, we're going to run down the scoreboard from week one of HBCU football. Not going to keep you very long today, let you get back to kind of what you're doing, but thank you for checking in. Of course, on tomorrow, which is Takeaway Tuesday, I'll kind of break down some of the games and really talk about some of the bigger stories from week one in HBCU football. So we're going to take things all the way back to Thursday and Lincoln of Missouri. Now, of course, Lincoln of Missouri plays in the MIAA conference and has really struggled for many years now. And, Washburn is a pretty good program. Lincoln of Missouri falls to Washburn 45-3. A final in overtime. It was Bluefield State defeating Johnson C. Smith 35-34. Chowan fell to Barton 17-3. It was St. Augustine's falling to Tusculum 70-13. Also on Thursday, Mississippi Valley State fell to Tarleton State 29-13. It was Alabama A&M falling to UAB 59-0. South Carolina State, the defending HBCU champs, at least amongst the coaches, fell to Central Florida 56-10. It was Virginia Union all over the University of Virginia of Lynchburg, 77-0. That game was the Willard Bailey Classic. Now, let's move to Saturday. West Virginia State gets its season off on the right foot with a 29-6 victory over Shippensburg. Bowie State, the defending champs in the media poll, defeated New Haven 27-20. Congratulations to interim head football coach Kyle Jackson, his first collegiate victory as a head coach. Kentucky State fell to Delta State 33-10. Tennessee State fell to Eastern Washington 36-29. Looked like a pretty good ball game. I didn't see the game, but I was able to look at some of the stats. It looked like Tennessee State was trying to come back in that football game, but wasn't quite enough. It's Eastern Washington able to close it out. It was Delaware State over Lincoln of Pennsylvania, 34-0. It was Norfolk State falling to FBS opponent Marshall, 55-3. Bethune-Cookman falling to Miami, 70-13. Clark Atlanta over Edward Waters, 39-34. Shaw falls to Wingate, 21-7. And in the Labor Day Classic in Montgomery, Alabama, it was Alabama State over Miles, 21-12. So Alabama State right now 2-0 overall. Alcorn State just got nipped by Stephen F. Austin, 27-21. I think these two teams, and that game was in Lorman, Mississippi. I think these two teams played last year. And if I'm not mistaken, it was a game that Alcorn State was able to pull out, but not this time, falling late in that football game. Grambling State losing to Arkansas State, playing up 58 Arkansas Pine Bluff able to defeat Lane 48-42. That game was a shootout. The game, I think the score is a little bit closer than the game was at the end, because I think Arkansas Pine Bluff was at least up by 3 scores, but give Lane a lot of credit. Lane's going to be a good football team in the SIAC this year. Langston gets off on the right foot, 48-13 over Oklahoma Panhandle State. That was a Sooner Athletic Conference matchup. It was Southern all over Florida Memorial, 86-0. Benedict pounded Elizabeth City State, 52-14. Morgan State falling to Georgia Southern, 59-7. And in the battle of the real HU, Hampton defeated Howard, 31-28. So while Alabama State moves to 2-0, conversely, Howard moves to 0-2. Looking at the numbers, Quentin Williams, the quarterback for Howard, had a bounce back game, if you will. He threw for, I think it was 339 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 1 interception in the ball game. And as a matter of fact, Howard lost last week to Alabama State. Virginia State falling to Lenoir-Rhyne, 38-13. It was Livingstone falling to Catawba, 44-19. Those schools, both schools right there in Salisbury, North Carolina. It was Morehouse falling to West Alabama, 24-16. Allen falls to Newberry, 40-6. It was Savannah State falling to Southeastern, 34-14. And Texas College falling to Arkansas Baptist, 31-12. Maybe this is a year we'll see some better things from Texas College, because it's been, I mean, you look at that Texas College program. It's been some years where it's won 0 game. It's been some years where it's won 1 game, but it's been a struggle for many, many years for Texas College, of course, located in Tyler, Texas. Albany State gets off on the right foot with a victory over Mississippi College, 28-14. So Albany State is off to the right start to begin this season. In a tough battle, Fayetteville State defeats UNC Pembroke, 15-13. Is this the year? You know, Fayetteville State in the CIAA championship game has gone 4 straight years, lost 4 straight times, 3 times to Bowie State, 1 time to Virginia State. Could this be the year that Fayetteville State, Richard Hayes and crew pulls it out? And I think it's a good indication. Beating UNC Pembroke's got a really good program, and those two programs are separated maybe by about 40 miles or so. In the Duke's Mayo Classic, also known as the Aggie Eagle Classic, it was North Carolina Central defeating North Carolina A&T 28-13. One of the things I thought that was interesting, not only about that football game, but if you look at the state of North Carolina, you had that football game, you had NC State playing at ECU, and NC State escaped with a victory, and then you had UNC playing at App State, where UNC escaped with a victory. So when you can have those kind of state rivalry games, it's really great. And I thought it was great that, of course, NC State and North Carolina Central had its game, and it was in Charlotte at Bank of America Stadium, home of the Carolina Panthers. And North Carolina Central looks good. I'm going to tell you, Davis Richard, the quarterback, looks really good. He was responsible for all 4 of the Eagles' touchdowns, and we'll talk more about the breakdown of that game on tomorrow. In the Labor Day Classic, Prairie View A&M defeated Texas Southern 40-23. So now you're talking about that being a conference game, and specifically a Western Division game. So you're talking about Prairie View A&M already 1-0 in the conference, and Texas Southern already 0-1 in the conference. Let's move to Sunday's games. Boy, I've watched the majority of that Jackson State and Florida A&M game in the Orange Blossom Classic in Miami Gardens, Florida. It was Jackson State 59, Florida A&M 3. And wow, I mean, Jackson State looks good, right? Like it looks like a team that knows that it let one get away from itself last year, I think in part because of itself. But I think also that, the HBCU national championship still runs through Orangeburg, South Carolina. But if you're Jackson State, boy, that's a good way to get off to a good start. And just like in the Texas Southern Prairie View A&M game, excuse me, you got a situation where it's now a 1-0 situation for Jackson State in conference. Meanwhile, Florida A&M falls to 0-2 and 0-1 in conference, and did get quite a few of its players back for this football game. You also have Central State defeating Winston-Salem State 41-21. That was in the Black College Football Hall of Fame game, classic, that is, in Canton, Ohio. Had a chance to watch some of that game at halftime of the FAMU Jackson State game. I watched a little bit of that game. And then at the end of that game, and that was just all Central State in that football game. And so, hey, that's a look at all of the scores. If you missed any of those scores, you can log on to our website at box2row.com, box2row.com, to get the updated scoreboard. Don't forget to tell a couple of friends about the HBCU Football Daily Podcast, where you can watch us on YouTube, on our YouTube page. You can also find us online on our website at box2row.com. You can also find us at iHeartMedia.com and wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget, tomorrow is Takeaway Tuesday. I'm going to be looking at that, breaking down that Florida A&M and Jackson State game, talking a little bit more about that Aggie Eagle Classic game as well, and some of the other games, who's gotten off to the good start, who looked good, maybe who didn't look so good. Of course, on tomorrow, we would have, later on today, we'll have our Box to Row National Players of the Week. And you can find that on our website at box2row.com, as well as on today, the FCS, the HBCU FCS Coaches Poll will be released, and the HBCU Media Poll will be released a little bit later on today as well. Talk with you tomorrow.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the HBCU Football Daily Podcast. You can also listen to the podcast at box2row.com, iHeartMedia, or wherever you get your podcasts. Don't forget to get your HBCU football fix on Box to Row with Donal Ware each weekend on the radio station near you, and on SiriusXM on HBCU Channel 142, and on ESPNU Radio on SiriusXM Channel 84. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Box to Row for the latest in HBCU football, and don't forget to tell a friend.